this then is, I want to show you, this is an image that I took of, right, that's myself, just visiting the island after the project in order to take this image to discuss with you some of the affordances of the world, of the tool. All around are these tabs all have menus attached, so at any time there's a very complex set of decisions about what you have open. For example, if you wanted to build something, if you wanted to try and build something, you have to open the building tab, which would then give you access to an enormous amount of menus that can allow that. What I've done here is something more simple. I tend to always have a mini-map open, which shows who else is there on the island and what direction I'm looking in. Here I've opened up my inventory, which is all the clothes, objects, instructional note cards and so forth that belong to Rowan. When I take an image, or at any time, I can alter the camera controls, so I can either look through the avatar's eyes, or I can look from behind her or in front of her, whatever. My avatar always displays logging chat above her head, or his head, to demonstrate that when I'm online around the teenagers, to remind them that I'm logging chat within 30 metres scalable. That's done. Now, this doesn't actually mean anything like total surveillance, because, for example, at any time, there are also other instant message channels available. So it is a matter, we share the process of researching with the students. Now, down here is how I communicate then. So I write something there, and when I press enter, that then moves up to there, and anyone hangs around for a few seconds, so that anyone in the environment close to me can read it. I think it's very important to emphasise that at any time, another avatar will, who's also available who's in the environment, will have a very different view, not just from the same way that you're looking from that angle and I'm looking at this angle as we do in the real world, but because they will have made different choices at the time about the things they've opened and have available. I think that these very different views of the reading and writing process going on simultaneously illustrate Cress's point about the radically changing forms and functions of text, which go beyond traditional conceptions of literacy. He suggests that the distinction between reading and writing is challenged in new digital environments. Now, in order to introduce you to the different communicative domains of the projects and some possible means of studying them, I thought I'd show you my own route through the communicative domains as I tried to trace some of the mediation rings and chronotypes connected with a particularly memorable event. Last night I suddenly realised an absolutely wonderful coincidence, which was that the event that I decided to trace took place exactly a year ago today. A few of us were on a beach discussing Pompeii and the eruption of Vesuvius. Suddenly there was an eruption and molten rocks cascaded onto us. So it was like a fall of rocks, not all together, sort of tumbling down over us with sound effects. I was absolutely astounded, absolutely flabbergasted. And I realised that, so after a while I realised that a student had made the rocks, placed them above us and programmed them to fall down in this way, attached the sound effects, an enormous amount of work, and that somehow I'm being lured along with the others to be in the right place at the right time. Now, if I try and reconstruct something of what sources of evidence are there about what's happened? Well, I can look back at the wiki. We commonly now have a summary of the past week, and we have these images. Now, I wanted to look back at the wiki history to see, because you can generally see who's contributed exactly what, because these pages are collaboratively created by a number of us. Now, in this occasion, because these 4 pictures with their captions had been moved after they'd been made, I couldn't actually do that. I have the memory that I contributed this and its caption, which was actually falsified, deliberately as we shared, because of course I wasn't taking images while this stunning thing happened. I afterwards thought of, walking up to the rocks and then adding this caption. But certainly the act of doing this was a collaborative construction. So then it's illustrative of flagship novels to merchants, illustrations of new literacy practices, the collaborative meaning making, writing together across obstacles of space and time. As I say, the other people who are writing are in different places, doing it at different places, but it was moved. I decided to look at the forum, which is where planning generally went on. And tracing back, this particular meeting, I should say, this meeting about archaeology, started to be planned here. Mars Bar started this off, and immediately got a response from Vivia, who, as you'll see, was particularly keen on archaeology. Now, these messages are extremely rapid. Can you see? I don't know if you can read depending on your eyesight, how quickly the timings are. And that's because this forum has this particular affordance of, if you're online, then there's a green light there. So you then know, if somebody's online, that you can put up a message on the forum, and rather than it being the very asynchronous thing that it usually is with messages coming in much later, you can treat it almost like instant messaging in the sense that people, may well choose to reply extremely quickly. Now, I'm obviously not going to show you the long trace of messages. This discussion developed into saying that some avatars pushed some logs up here, and somebody said maybe it would be easier to do if the avatars were fatter. It could be easier if you made your avatar fatter, which is one thing you could do. Maybe it would be easier to push the logs up here. Topper took up this idea, and I partly put this up here to show that many messages were much longer. And one thing I want to mention is that this that I put in purple was actually in white, so it didn't show up. He'd effectively written it as an invisible message, and I only realised that when I was cutting and pasting it for this presentation. Now, the trail, though, of how the Vesuvius eruption was planned went cold, and of course I realised that that's because they decided to plan a surprise. So they would have had to have gone inward off the forum that left its traces in order to do all the planning and the operation that set it up. So we did, however, you see, after a while in the project, we realised that having a template for events was the best way to organise it, because one thing that happened in the first phase was that so often events were advertised in different places by sticking up posters in Word on the forum and everything, that many events went on that people said afterwards, oh, I'd have gone to that, so I didn't know. So this was using a template that we developed as a standard thing. And what you can notice here is that shortly before it, just 20 minutes before, one of the organisers has said, I'll probably be late or even miss the session, please feel free to continue without me. And he's done that, of course, so that we won't be hanging around for him 20 minutes later, because of course he's up organising the